get started. Call the City of Marine City Commission meeting to order, Marine City Fire Hall, August 16th, 2018, 7 p.m. Can you please stand for a prayer?
This is a prayer for people who are interested in and participating in government from New Zealand. Let us pray. Almighty God, kindle in the hearts of all people, especially those who take counsel to lead, the true love of peace, and guide them with your peaceable wisdom, especially those who take counsel in Marine City this day, that your will may increase until the earth is filled with the knowledge of your love, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
And the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Vandebosch.
Here.
Commissioner Avery.
Present.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Here.
Commissioner Callahan.
Here.
Commissioner Clausen.
Here.
Commissioner Leftley.
Here,
Commissioner Turner.
Here.
City Manager Levin.
Here.
All right, moving on to communications. I need a motion to receive and file departmental activity reports, Marine City Area Fire Run Reports, Pension Board meeting, April 24th, Pension Board Retiree Healthcare meeting, April 24th, Zoning Board of Appeals meeting, June 6th, and a lead and copper rule changes. Mr. Avery.
I make a motion that we accept and file the communications as just read.
Support.
Motion, support. Any questions or concerns on?
Just comment. I'd like to see if we could add 4F, the lead and copper rule changes, to a future agenda for more discussion.
Any other questions or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Public comment. Anyone in attendance is welcome to address the city commission. Please state your name and address, and please limit your comments to 5 minutes. Mr. Haas.
Bill Haas, 203 Pleasant Street, 215 Harold. Wasn't going to come tonight, but being I got a visit from a police officer as I was doing some work outside, talking about you guys are supposed to vote on parking on easements, like on Harold Street, and all around the city, campers that are out and all that kind of good stuff. The 207 Harold property, 3/4 of that shed she's got out there is on city easement. Does that mean that's coming down? 246 Harold Street, where, back in the day where we had some of our city leaders split garages and made them houses. 246 Harold Street. The front of his house is right at the fence line easement, which would be on the east side. From there out, he's got poured cement and he's got shrubs for his front yard. So does that mean that's getting cut away too? Just wasn't. A couple years ago, I started coming here because we had a business guy wanted to run his mouth and beat down residents. Well, he beat down the wrong resident. I've been here ever since. I'm trying to stay away from here. I'm curious, Mr. Mayor here, fire marshal and or whatever you do with the fire. How come we're renting properties? We got Steve and Nancy Dumars got the properties. I had the problem with the boat. You got to look out. The neighbor right there, the boat, no trailer sitting on, all the hassle, garbage. I came to the city and told you and showed you on Facebook about how the floors that the woman who was in there had put pallet wooding on the floor. Was that ever properly documented with pictures showing the floor was gone? Or he just took his word for it? Not sure.
We're just doing
Okay,
public comment.
Not sure, you don't remember. Same property. The roof is rotting away. We're renting it out though. We got about a 4-foot pile bonfire out back. Now, that property has 2 rentals in a single-family residential area. No sidewalk to the back, no public access to the back house. So the guy renting the back house, he's got a nice view of a 4-foot pile of garbage sitting there, just waiting for it to light up, to burn down the house so Dumars can, whatever. How can you allow something like that to be rented? You got a rental property which is falling apart with a big pile of garbage, no access to the back. You know, this was the main concern for our code enforcer back there. You know, take care of the slumlords. But, you know, we want to beat on the residents instead, you know, the regular people who come to try and do things in here. 2.5 years, 3 years, we had a probate, illegal rental, blight. You know, it's amazing. You want to beat down the residents. You know, to the people out there in Marine City. You know, the business people have been running our town for the last 12 years. Mr. Turner, Becky Lepley, her husband. Not quite sure how long Mr. Avery. Mr. Avery, you remember when I caught you Saturday morning with them 2 big piles of grass on either side of the our city drain? At the time, we had a 20-foot by 40-foot hole at the corner of North Elizabeth and Maple Street. This is the same guy that's got the rotten property. Same people, no disregard, you know. Nancy Dumars likes, what's the one deal? Red Dawn, one of these helping groups, you know. Hey, put some tents on your 5110 King Road property and start renting those out, you know. We had tent dwellers here. They survived unless you complained about them, you know. So like I say, when you take this vote, there's a house, you're gonna lose his front yard. You know, like I said, I wasn't gonna come, but being as the cop stopped and I had enough time, finished what I was doing, hurried here, no shower. I'll do that when I get home. But, you know, you're allowing slum properties. I mean, Marine City, so big and bad, one street. Everybody's been doing one street. Why, for 12 years, why the rest of the neighborhoods have fallen apart. And we let slumlords rent falling down properties. You know, what kind of town are we running here? You know, I've been to the Big Law twice. I got to go back again with more diagram sheets. I got no problem. It's around the corner from work. You know, like I say, the slumlords are a problem. I told you with the sidewalk program. You go hit every house with 0% homestead in the corners. Oh, baby, how nice this town would start looking. You know, how about I start taking pictures of slum rentals, put signs back on my truck, get the guy to give me the little wraparound so I can 4x8. You know, we start, you know, you got to start calling the slumlords out. You know, we shouldn't have to do that. People who own houses, you know, came here, like I said, quiet little community. Well, you know, friends of City Hall who aren't friends for the people of Marine City. Oh, they're having a good time, you know. And when it comes time to vote, we need people like Mr. Hillfink and Melly back. So the people actually have the vote 4-3 instead of the business people. Because, you know, ain't nothing happening in the neighborhoods. They're going to beat everybody down instead of taking care of the main problem, which are the slumlords.
Anyone else like to speak? Mr. Machado.
Rudy Menchaca, 315 Westminster. Now, I got a question before. I'm really here for item number 9. Now, is that going to be open to the public, or do I make my, do I speak now?
Make you speak on it right now.
And it's not going to be open when you get to it. Okay. Good evening to everybody here. I'm going to start out first by saying, you know, most of you know me. I was a commissioner, and then I sat on the Planning Commission and the Zoning Board of Appeals. And so I'm a pro-business kind of guy, and I like that, and I like what's been happening in our town. I'm all for that. However, recently, I think it was last month, I saw one of the meetings, commission meetings, and there was one of our owners going to put out some tables in front of their business. So, and again, I only caught a bit of it, you know, and I'm going, what's the big deal? Tables is good, as far as I'm concerned. Most of you, or some of you know that I walk every day. And when I walk around, I enjoy talking to the folks in the community. So as I was walking around, I saw those tables in front of that business. And I just about fell out. My immediate thought was, this is so wrong on so many levels. My second one was, It's like this owner knows it's wrong, but I'm gonna do it anyways. You know, I don't know, and forgive me, I don't want to beat the owner or anybody. It just, it didn't make any sense to me. Okay? Then shortly after that, another business had some tables, and then they brought out some umbrellas. So I'm taking notice of all this. And this is what I observed. With the first one that I mentioned, they put the tables, which are 6-footers, and then you got that pylon thing around the side. On one occasion, this lady is walking like this, and she turns to the other lady, and she hit it and almost went over. Yeah, because that thing is so long. At the festival, I saw a lady who was smoking, and she was talking to her party, whoever was on a table, with a cigarette in the back of her hand, while children were just shooting behind and parents grabbing them. Shortly after that, I saw a man who was much taller doing the same thing, because you only got a little space to get around those things. And lo and behold, still another day, I see this lady coming on a wheelchair. And she's coming from this direction, I'm coming this way. And I'm thinking, well, how's she gonna get around there? Now I'm thinking back at the other place, the Roasted. Because they put tables, plus they put these big umbrellas. And myself, I'm vertically challenged. I got no problem with that. But there's some folks that are much taller than I am. Because the average man, 5'8", 5'9", 5'10". And those umbrellas are coming right down. In fact, on one occasion, I think it was last Friday, I was walking, and just as I looked into the roast like that, I almost hit myself with the umbrella. And I'm a short man. So I caught myself in time. In fact, the lady that owns the shop next door, she saw it, and we both talked a little bit about that. But again, back to the lady that was coming on the wheelchair, from where the chair is and the table to that tree, maybe a foot, foot and a half. I don't know how you can get, and I watch people, even with the one with the big tables, if I'm coming down, there's two people, whoever's coming in the other direction, they have to stop. You know, I don't think it's fair that we've gone to the extent of accommodating the business owner and not really considering our residents. And again, I'm pro-business. Many of you know me. You know I'm that way. I'm a straight shooter. But like I just told a business owner the other day, we were talking and we had a disagreement. But I told them both. When it comes before businesses, you and anybody other business owner, the people in this community come first. They're number one. I think, first of all, our responsibility is to make accommodations for our residents and look out for them, because really what we're talking about here is really a matter of public safety. You know, people can get hurt coming around those things, you know, and the other thing I noticed, these, what do you call them, those sandwich boards? It's like they're all over the place. I don't walk now I jump hurdles. Joking around. But anyways, you see these cars pull up and they kind of maneuver around these things. I watch kids run into them all the time. So, I mean, I understand that Wade Trim is doing a report or something like that. And if so, I'm sure that in their report, they're not going to tell you this because they have no skin in the game. They're only going to do what you hire them to do. But I'm giving you what their report's not going to tell you. And this is something that each and every one of you, I'm asking you to really take a good look at this, okay? Because our citizens deserve to be treated fairly. I thank you very much.
Anyone else like to speak? Jonathan?
Hello, I'm Jonathan Markle. I'm here tonight to present the completion of my Eagle Scout project. I am asking for my final signature, but also I'd like to thank the City Commission, the DPW, and the citizens, all the citizens that helped me complete this project. Seeing the pictures of it being used is very rewarding. Also, I have received so much support from the community. I would like to present a check to the city to be used for in the beach fund for equipment repairs or new equipment of $1,135.
Well, before you give that to us, we have something for you. But before we do that, I'm going to need a motion for a proclamation.
I'll make a motion for a proclamation for Jonathan.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let me read it for you, since they had to put enough whereases in it for me. Proclamation from the office of the mayor, Marine City, Michigan. Whereas Jonathan Markle has generously constructed a swing set featuring a handicapped accessible swing and special needs swing at the Marine City Beach. And whereas the dedication, hard work, mutual support, and commitment of Jonathan's fellow troop members exemplifies the pride and the heart of the Marine City Boy Scout program. And whereas Jonathan Markle and his Boy Scout troop members were successful in tirelessly fundraising to cover the entire cost of the swing, and whereas the insight and hard work and support of the community members will benefit children and adults of all ages with physical handicaps. And now, therefore, it be resolved that the City of Marine City, along with the City Commission and its citizens in Marine City, officially acknowledge and pay special tribute to Jonathan and the fellow Boy Scout troop members for their outstanding achievements, contributions, and encouragement each member of the troop to continue their positive contributions to the community. In testimony whereof, I hereunto set my hands and cause to be affixed the Great Seal of the City of Marine City on this date, August 16th, 2018. Okay, I'll get
I need your autograph. Right there.
got a pen?
No.
There you go, sir. Thank you very much.
I'll date it for you. It's the,
Dating it for me?
yeah, I'll date it for you. It's the 16th.
Yes, sir. Nice job. Let's give Jonathan another round of applause, please.
Oh, I also have some signs to show you guys for the, this is to go on to the swing. I have two of them. Then I have a thank you plaque engraved by BLB saying swing donated as Eagle Scout project by Jonathan Markle of Troop 296. Marine City with the support of the community on August 2018. And then that will be mounted on the swing in a special way somehow.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate all the hard work you've done for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else like to speak in public comment? Hearing none, we're moving on to approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Mr. Avery,
I make a motion that we approve the agenda as received.
motion and support. Any questions or concerns on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I need approval of the City Commission regular minutes, August 2nd, 2018. Mr. Avery.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the City Commission regular meeting of August 2nd.
Support.
Motion support. Any corrections or deletions to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Also need a motion to approve the City Commission closed session minutes, August 2nd, 2018.
Make a
Clausen.
motion to approve the closed session minutes of August 2nd, 2018.
I support that motion.
Motion support. Any questions or concern on the closed session minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Moving on to the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve business license for MC Marketplace.
I make a motion to approve the business license for MC Marketplace.
Support.
Motion and support. Any questions on the business license? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Avery,
I still have a question.
Oh, yes.
I looked at this, and I have nothing against whatever it is. It just doesn't say, I feel like the piece of paper I've been handed is, how do you fool a chimp? It just says that there's a business set up and it's retail sales, nothing else to know at all what it is. So, just a general comment that we should have something in here. Otherwise, why are we approving things? Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns on it? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Avery,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Callahan,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Levely,
Yes.
Commissioner Turner,
Yes.
Mayor Van
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving on to unfinished business ordinance 2018-006 sidewalk, outdoor sales and cafes, second reading.
Want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So at the last couple meetings, we've been dealing with the sidewalk ordinance and cafes and got through a first reading of this. Tonight you have before you the second reading. Obviously, we had some comments that pertain to this particular ordinance, and I did have some feedback from the building official about a couple of other things that we could potentially consider including in this ordinance as well. First and foremost, some of the discussion about the outdoor display in the off-street parking or landscaped area. Also considering the city easement and driveway approach, not allowing them in there. Quite a few of the businesses in town, I'm sure you've probably noticed, there are a lot of things in the easement, so between the sidewalk and the street. And these really are areas that should be clear zone areas so that we can easily see people pulling out from driveways, for instance, needs to be able to have clear vision. That's one of the reasons why we try and keep things out of the easement. There are utilities in the easement. That's, of course, one of the reasons why we keep signs out of the easement, because we don't want people to potentially puncture a gas or phone line. I think those were the only potential additions to this ordinance, and then also taking into consideration comments tonight.
Mr. Avery.
I believe that this ordinance is not ready for prime time yet. I'm not pleased to hear the comments that we did, but I am glad that they were expressed. If we can't even adhere to something before it's even made an ordinance and make the 5-foot clearance and unobstructed use, then we are not ready to make this an ordinance, in my opinion. Thank you.
I noticed that you put in here on page 2, outdoor display seating and our planters are prohibited from December 1st through March 31st, even though we do have some that are bolted down and permanent. So they're gonna have to unbolt those and move them?
Anything that's in the sidewalk probably shouldn't be permanent.
Well, we have some benches on Broadway that are. So I didn't think you were gonna, I mean, if they have them in there and they're not in the right of way. And I guess part of it too is, I understand where he's coming from, because I've seen it myself. I saw in one instance, the tables were full and a sign was there, and the person had to go out in the street to get around it. So I'm kind of wondering why we're allowing any of them at this point, because of the fact that our current ordinance says no. And I know we're trying to be lenient to make up for some of it, but I think a few people kind of have taken a little bit of a liberty and taken up a little bit too much space. And I still say we should go for a 6-foot zone instead of a 5-foot zone.
Well, some of those come out on the weekend, and we don't have the code enforcer here on the weekend. And then the one particular one that we did approve prior to the ordinance, and they would have to come into agreement with the ordinance once it's passed.
Yeah.
That was the stipulation of that approval.
But I do have to agree with him on some of the umbrellas. I mean, I'm 6 foot, and I know I've run into, it's bad enough, a lot of our trees, the city trees, when you're going down the sidewalk, you got to duck for those, but let alone umbrellas and stuff. So he's right, we have to take all that consideration.
There was someone that had put some tables out with umbrellas last year, and we did talk about that with that property owner, and he did take those down because they are unsafe.
Yeah, but it just migrated to a different one.
Mhm.
So, but I agree, there's still a lot of work, I think, that needs to be done on this, but in the meantime, I think we ought to, we already have one on the books, and I know we're trying to update this, but I know
The
during the yard-
sidewalk cafe is completely new.
Yeah, but even the stuff, selling this stuff, I know during the yard sale trail, the one on Broadway there, that was all choked up with stuff too, and I heard a lot of complaints from people trying to get down the sidewalk.
Right, and that's part of the reason why we're really looking to prohibit things within that easement area.
Yeah, you probably know my site on that, because I explained it before about the setbacks and everything. But one thing I wanted to ask was, you said no enforcement on the weekend? Our officers can enforce this ordinance?
The police don't enforce the zoning ordinances.
No, I asked you, they can't?
Be something we need to look into.
I mean, you have to have something to deal with some of these things on the weekends when we don't have anybody there, in case there is an issue.
We've been working on setting up a meeting between the police, the building official, and the attorney to really talk about our enforcement process.
Okay. And I guess I'm still going to bring up, I know Bill brought it up last time about the ADA compliance, and I know Rudy mentioned the wheelchair, but you still have to be in compliance with the rules for a dual wheelchair passability. So,
Mr. Avery.
I suggest maybe we ask the DPW to do some driver training for snow plowing next year and put a 5-foot blade on a piece of equipment and run it down the sidewalks. Sometimes it may clear out some of the things that are obstructing.
It's not supposed to be there from December to March, so.
Practice, driving training, that's what I said.
All right. Anything else?
We can further work with the attorney and planner and address some of these issues that we've discussed tonight and bring it back.
Okay. As the board can feel that that's what they want to do?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to table this to the next meeting. How's that?
Support?
Motion, support. Any other questions or concerns on it?
I just like to say that I do believe that if the business owners, especially, I think the ones that we're talking about in particular, because we know who they are. I mean, I think if they're given clear-cut guidelines, I think they'll abide by them. I mean, they're professionals, they have their businesses. I mean, it's not like they're gonna run rogue every weekend because they're not there. They just need to know what the rules are,
Absolutely.
so.
Yes, Mr. Avery.
I thought that was pretty well discussed at the last meeting when we were talking about this. Clearance was an issue, and I know I came away from the meeting thinking that it had been handled successfully, and we should move ahead at that time with this ordinance, but obviously, it has not worked.
Yes, Mr.
Well,
Chairman.
you gotta look at this, we're breaking this down into a couple different things. It's not just the outdoor cafe service, it's other, benches, displays, different things. Outdoor cafe service, they're required to send a sketch plan to the code enforcer and get approval and adhere to it. But the other ones haven't submitted anything, they haven't been required to. So, I think it's just a question of awareness, and like Wendy said, better communication.
But the ordinance hasn't been passed yet, so
And
they,
doesn't the-
they got the tentative approval, but when the ordinance is changed, they have to comply.
Right.
But again, it's more than just outdoor cafe service that we should be talking about here.
So, any other questions on, or concerns?
I do, and I guess that this is a question, so we're talking about the benches along Broadway. Are you talking about the green benches along Broadway there?
Oh,
I
she's-
mean, those were city installed, correct?
Yeah.
Because I know,
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Ms. Bench.
that's what I'm talking about.
okay, all right.
I mean, because this is saying you can't have them, and yet
Yeah,
they're
that's
bolted
easier
down,
to
and we
trust.
put them in, so that's the only reason why I'm bringing them up.
Yeah,
I don't, they've been there for years so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the trees and trash cans are in the easements as well.
Right.
But the easement belongs to us.
So we're at
Correct.
fault.
Yeah, so I'm just saying.
right, yeah.
Any other questions on delaying this, tabling this for now?
I think it's a good idea. We need to get it right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Moving on to water plant intake inspection bids.
We recently had a inspection up at the water plant from DQ. And we haven't had our cribbing or inspection or intake pipe inspected over 7, 10 years. And we need to get it done. They'd like to see it done. And we should get it done to see what condition our intake is in. And see if we still have a cribbing on the outside to stop the stuff from coming in it's supposed to. We reached out to the 3 commercial divers that do divers for other cities, and this is the only one we got back as a sealed bid. Okay,
All right.
so,
Yes, sir.
Well, at that point, I make a motion that we waive the competitive bidding since it failed in this
You don't
point.
have to.
no, I reached
sealed
out, we
bid.
only got one bid, one
Yep.
bid.
That's what I mean, we're gonna accept that bid.
Yeah, we don't have to waive though,
Because he put it out for bid.
because we put it out for bid.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna act on the one bid.
The sole provider.
Well, okay, let somebody else handle it.
So you don't want to make the motion then?
No,
Okay, I'll make the motion that we approve Solomon Diving for the bid of $3,345 for the intake inspection.
Support?
Motion support. Any questions on it for Mike? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hendrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Callahan,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Lockley,
Yes.
Commissioner Turner,
Yes.
Mayor Vandembosh,
Yes.
Commissioner Avery.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, moving on to letter of commitment for Huron to Erie Corridor Drinking Water Monitoring Program.
SEMCOG has been working with the communities up and down the river for a grant to be able to fund water monitoring. This is something that was actually done a number of years ago, and equipment was purchased for water monitoring, and we participated in that at the time. The communities up and down the river all shared in they didn't share in the cost, they carried the costs for maintenance. That's the reason why we have this before you today, is because of the maintenance portion of this new agreement. When the grant was completed, some communities chose not to carry on with the water monitoring. We have been continuing on with the water monitoring, so we, in essence, have been paying the burden of this cost throughout the years. The estimated cost is going to be about, I think, $4,000 a year for maintenance of the water monitoring equipment. This is a commitment that SEMCOG is just looking for from us as a community to move forward with the purchase of this equipment for the grant. The equipment is all covered by the grant, so there'll be no costs there. So this is just a 5-year commitment for the maintenance that I'm looking for approval for at this time.
Yes, Lisa.
What does this do for the fee that we already have on our water bills for the water monitoring?
We
The
shouldn't see any change because of this, because the equipment will all be paid for through the grant.
Okay.
And we're already paying, in essence, the same maintenance fee as what we're gonna be paying. Actually, I think we're paying a little bit more right now.
Is that what you're using the fee for?
Part of it, yes.
Yes, Mr. Avery.
I think with the increased interest that is being noticed on water purity, that this is a very good idea for us to pursue. Thank you.
I think this is something we want to be a part of, and when they discussed it at SEMCOG, there was a lot of, good, favorable information. I think this is something we should be a part of.
So can I get a motion then for it?
Got to be careful how I word this. I would like to make a motion that we enter into this agreement to monitor the water for the 5-year period specified here.
Support.
Any other questions on it?
So for clarity, so we'd be a 5-year commitment, we think 4,000 a year for maintenance
Yes.
annually?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions or concerns on it?
Yeah, where's the monitoring system at? At the water plant?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Callahan,
Support.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Lockley,
Yes.
Commissioner Turner,
Yes.
Mayor Vandembosh,
Yes.
Commissioner Avery,
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving on to the East China Facility Use Agreement.
So our facility use agreement with East China is going to be ending at the end of this month. The agreement that we currently have is $1,890 a year. This is for the use of the schools. Primarily, we use the high school for recreation programs, the swimming pool and the gyms there. With Lynn retiring from our recreation department, we don't have any current programs that are planned moving forward. So at this point in time, we would be looking for consideration whether or not we continue with this facility use agreement. If we do this, then we in essence would be moving forward with the recreation program, and I would be looking to seek someone to fill the position from when Lynn left. I don't think that it's something that's going to happen overnight. There have been several people that have expressed some interest. At one point in time, I was looking to someone just to temporarily jump in and continue some of the programs. But there has been some interest, so that would be something I would definitely have to put out a employment ad for.
Would you want to table this until you actually have somebody in place to actually administer the program? Do you even have it right now without a
So,
director or somebody to run the department? Is it even necessary?
so one thing that I have considered, our recreation programs, obviously, were not very well attended or utilized. I would potentially look maybe next year for someone that's interested in developing a new recreation plan, coming to the table with their own ideas and ways to fund everything. I think our programs that we had in the past just kind of became, I don't know, broken or something. People really were not that involved. Our biggest programs that we had were ABC Gymnastics, which was an independent contractor that we brought in and did a gymnastics program. And then also all of the swim programs. Obviously, the swim programs are at the school, we need to have the facility use agreement. My understanding when Lynn left is that the person that was leading the swim programs would only stay dependent upon who was brought in. So I really don't know how to address that at this point, because I don't know who I would even consider bringing in, because I think it really needs to be an employment ad and seeking someone for the position instead of just picking and choosing someone.
When did that program start normally? Do you know?
I don't know offhand, no. There's been some type of swim program seasonally.
So this current agreement ends this month?
It does, yes.
Yeah, so that's the time sensitive part.
Right.
Okay.
Good. Oh, God.
I mean, even if this ends this month, if we don't approve it, it dies, and then if you, in the future, have a person or we decide to continue with that program, we can always enter into a new agreement.
Correct. Like, say, January.
Yeah.
You could just vote this evening to suspend reestablishing the agreement pending further action and further study by the city on the program, so that it's not a flat-out termination of this issue. You just suspend, it's going to terminate anyways, but maybe motion to suspend renegotiating or re-entering into the agreement pending your study might be a better approach.
Because we've talked about needing to do something, and I don't think we can really hammer something out tonight and get it done right. And I think rushing it would be the worst thing we can do, and we just continue on the same path we've been going.
Yeah, because paragraph 16, it's definitely terminating at the end of August, self-terminating.
Right.
Sometimes the word just suspending, renegotiating is a better way to go than a flat termination.
Any other input from the rest of the board, or?
I mean, that seems to make the most sense. If you don't have a director to run these programs, you're not going to have programs. Why enter into an agreement?
I'll make a motion to suspend the agreement until we can get more information on it, or hire somebody in for the recreation department.
Support.
Motion, support. Any questions on it? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed? Opposed.
Okay. Motion carried.
Just let it mercifully die.
Moving on to financial business disbursements, including payroll of $52,938.84.
I'll make a motion to approve disbursements including payroll of $552,938.84.
Support.
Motion support. Any questions on it? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Buckley,
No,
Commissioner Turner,
Yes.
Mayor Vandembosh,
Yes.
Commissioner Avery,
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Callahan.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving on to preliminary financial statements. I need a motion to receive and file.
Go ahead. I'll make a motion to receive and file.
I second that motion.
Any questions on the preliminary financial statements? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
no,
Carried. Moving on to city manager's report.
Since our last meeting, I have attended the Planning Commission, Fire Authority, and Emergency Management Committee. I also attended the swing dedication, which was absolutely wonderful and great attendance, and good job, John. I met with a representative from USDA Rural Development today regarding grants that they have available for communities. Nothing that favorable, so I don't want to get your hopes up on that. The vacant parcel that we had in the county auction unfortunately did not sell. There is a second chance auction that has no minimum bid, and I'm not really recommending moving forward with that. I think we can probably put it on the market. If for some reason we still don't sell it, then there's always next year that we could bid it out. There's not really any cost out of our pocket for that. That's pretty much all I have.
Any questions for the city manager? Yes, Lisa.
Based on questions that we got tonight, where is the rental rehab ordinance?
It is going to be at the next planning commission meeting.
So they're just working on that now. Are we enforcing anything, I mean, on our current rental, or you're just gonna wait till that new one comes in because there was so much that needed to be added to it?
We're going to be working on the next program. It's going to be very different. One of the things with,
It's an overhaul.
yeah, it is.
Total overhaul? Okay. I noticed too that, since we have the trailer ordinance, there's an awful lot of now utility trailers and everything else now in the street, no vehicles, no nothing. So, you open up a can.
You know, one of the things that we were waiting for was for it to be enacted, and that took a while after the meeting. I think the date was August 5th, maybe, when it
Okay.
became officially enacted. So that's something that we'll be on top of.
Okay.
When can we expect the new ordinance for the rentals to come to us?
It depends on how long planning commission's gonna have with them. I'm hoping that they won't spend more than one meeting on it, but I can't guarantee it.
Okay, so we may see it by the
September?
September then?
October.
October? Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm just going to say, it had been brought to my attention, and I know I emailed you about it, that according to the city charter, the city manager is to be evaluated every year. I don't remember there ever being one since I came on the board. So, we need to do that. That needs to be done. And it makes more sense to do it with the board that's been working with you than to bring new people in and ask them to do an evaluation.
That's a good point. Absolutely.
Okay, in relationship to the parking ordinance on the streets, I don't remember that it covered things other than recreational vehicles. And I think stretching it a bit to call utility trailers with work apparatus on it as a recreation vehicle.
No, it covered boat trailers, all trailers, not just recreational trailers.
Well, I know, well, boat trailer is
And a lot of these
recreation.
are either boat trailers or car haulers or just a utility trailer that's just somebody's using to store stuff.
If
I
it-
understand if it's
I
a
know.
work trailer, but No.
If it's all trailers, fine. I just said I didn't remember that, and I see that they have proliferated, so.
Anything else for the city manager? Can we put something together for the next meeting for a review,
For,
for your review?
I was not involved in that at all last time. That was something the board took care of.
I had a form at one time. The only year we've missed so far is last year. We've done them since then, as far as I
That
know.
was something that the board puts together a
Can we-
document, and they coordinate it completely separate from me.
Yes, we had a form that we handed out with a scale, and I can go back and see if I can find it. And then it used to be, when Diane Lovett was here, her and I would collect it all, and then we would combine it all into one document, and then we
Can
would go through.
provide that for the next meeting? We have for the next meeting? Okay. All right, moving on then. If nobody has anything else for the city manager, move on to commissioner privilege. Mr. Avery?
I have nothing for tonight, thank you.
I just want to say, as a person who's been involved in music my whole life, we mourn the passing of Aretha Franklin today. She certainly left behind a body of work for us to enjoy. Also, I'd like to thank everybody that was involved in Maritime Days. I know what a job that is, and they're probably resting, sleeping, resting up from that. And also, we have Heritage Days coming in the third weekend in September, 14, 15, and 16. And we're looking forward to that because we're going to have some Native American involvement. And we're looking forward to that. And also, one of the things that's been going on in Marine City is theater camps. And this coming week, next week, they're doing 101 Dalmatians. And they had so much participation that they had to add a third performance next Saturday. And it's an amazing thing, and I love to have my granddaughter come in and be a part of that, and she's looking forward to that. But it is an amazing thing that they do with these theater camps and all the children.
I'll pass.
Yes, I like the second Commissioner Lepley's comments about Maritime Days. The group, they did a great job despite they had some, they had some issues, they had some pushback, but they pushed through and they got the job done, and I think they pulled off a great event. I do want to let the fellow commissioners know that that I'm on the Chamber of Commerce board. And what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start bringing you little updates here and there of what's going on with that group so that you guys have a little bit of, understanding of what it is we're trying to do for the community. As it's just, kind of like an idea where we're trying to bridge the community and the businesses together and just trying to work all together all as one group. We do have quite a few events coming up here this fall between now and Maritime Christmas, so I'll get you a listing of those. The one that I can tell you about right now is the Startup School on September 29th. That's kind of like we're going to do breakout sessions around the town for entrepreneurs who want to come in and meet with. They're asking for different businesses and business owners to hold like 45-minute breakout sessions, groups of 14, 15, to come in and just kind of, hear from the business owners and other community members, what it's like to run a business, what it's like to start up a business. It's not, it's not all peaches and cream and fun and games like like a lot of people think it is. But also on that same day, there's a group, I think it's the Women's Life Group, I believe, is also doing a kitchen tour. So they're going to do before, and it's something that the Toe Kick is also, I think they're part of the sponsors there with that. So it's like kind of like, they've got a number of kitchens around town that they've remodeled that they're selling tickets for to have people take a walk through. They asked us if we could show ours, and I was like, I don't know why, so no. But besides, we'll be busy with the startup school. And there's a couple other events, but I'll bring those out later. And also, I just want to thank voters for coming out last week. I think it was, decent turnout, for what we had, so, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
So the Marine City Lions have adopted the tot lot, and I want to thank Mike. We were over there pulling 30 bags of weeds out of there that he hauled away for us, and he got us 120 yards of mulch that we're still working on. We'll be back there this week to keep spreading it around. I've never seen so much mulch in my life. But it's getting there. Eventually, we want to paint the fence, so we're trying to keep it looking better. But we need more people to adopt some of these parks. There's a list online on the city site. If you have a group or a church group or any type of group, look at the ones that need to be adopting and see if you can't get a group to do that. Some of them, the city just can't maintain all the ones with some of the playground equipment. And please watch out for any vandalism. We've been getting a lot of it on the kids' equipment, which is really sad. So be vigilant and watch out for that. And if you see anything, please report it. But I want to thank you guys for all the help in moving the bulk of that. But we'll get to it next week.
Yep, just a couple of comments. First of all, Jonathan, personally, thank you so much. That's fantastic what you did. Not only did you, organize and put together a great project, which will be a lasting thing for the city, you did such a great job to the extent that you turn around and hand us a check. I've never seen that. That's outstanding. Second comment, thank you, Mr. Itrich, for the detailed information you provided for lead and copper rule changes that are coming at us in January. And again, I do want to see this get on the agenda for a little more discussion rather than just a handout to us, because I think there's some pretty substantial impact here. So that's it.
Okay, and yeah, I'd like to add to that, and thank you, Jonathan. It's really nice to see, young man get that, you got it taken care of so quickly too. I mean, that shows some of us that do fundraising, we need to step up our game a little bit. I don't think the fire department's gotten it project done that quickly. So, and I also like to thank the Maritime Days. They did a wonderful job. I know we had some changes and we had a little bit of issues, but anytime we have change, it really we have to work on it. There's going to be some pluses, some minuses, and they need to go back and look at it and see how things went. As far as emergency services and services downtown, it was much easier this year, and the parade was much smoother going through that turn. So, thank you very much. And then we do have the pumpkins coming up again this season. We had a meeting today.
All right.
And Mike's looking forward to picking up them pumpkins again. He can't wait. Well, you don't have to pick them. How's that?
You gotta switch to cantaloupe.
On a sad note, we did lose 2 officers this week. Wayne County lost a sergeant that was killed in a hit-and-run accident off duty, and one of the Detroit officers passed away today, or yesterday, from his injuries from a hit-and-run. So please watch out for your first responders out there, and somewhat self-serving, because I'm one of them out on the side of the road. But when you see that, the red lights and the blue lights, please slow down for us. And then we did lose somebody from up by towards St. Clair in a very bad car accident in St. Clair this week too. So everybody it's getting toward the end of the summer season, but we need to keep our eyes on the road and try and avoid being distracted. So, other than that, I'd like to go into closed session. Yes, sure.
Just to remind everybody, on August 29th, the paving projects will be starting. So there'll be road closures on West Boulevard from M29 to South Bell River, and North Bell River from Fairbanks to the city limits for about 7 days.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay?
Appreciate it. The city commission will enter into a closed session to review legal opinion regarding purchase of or lease of real property. There may or may not be action upon returning to closed section, or returning to open session. Can I get a motion to enter into closed session? Mr. Avery.
Make a motion that the commission enter into a closed session.
Support. Motion support. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Luttley,
Yes.
Commissioner Turner,
Yes.
Mayor Van Bosch,
Yes.
Commissioner Avery,
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Callahan,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Motion carries.